Welcome, Northeast Magnet families. This is Principal Matt Kreisman. Some information to share with you today, again, concerning the start of school. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so last week we talked a little bit about the school board's decision to have all students go remote. There's a couple things that have changed since we talked that are going to be good changes, I think, for you, and I'll explain those as we go through. One more time, it's just really important that we keep in mind the importance of patience, grace, and flexibility with everybody. There are going to be a lot of things as we try to get school off the ground that are just going to be a challenge to everybody. But as a team of students, faculty, and families, I know we can work through this and make things work. And the things that I'm going to present to you today, I think offer us a lot of options, especially for the first 9 weeks of the school year, which would equal one semester in class time. Our goals today are to talk about student schedules and opportunities and what that's going to look like, and then also to talk about technology and textbook deployment and how you're going to be able to pick up your computer's textbooks. Student schedules. What you're seeing on parent view and student view is likely your schedule. We're still making final adjustments, however, so there could be a couple of changes that could still be made. The last day to request a schedule change is going to be Monday, August 31st at noon. So anything turned in after that, we won't be able to make. All schedules have to be finalized by then in order for the district to be able to create all of the teams to load in for everybody to be able to start school on the 8th. So it's going to be crucial that any schedule changes that need to be made are requested by noon. So you guys have a form out there that I've sent that you guys can request a schedule change on that form. I'll go ahead and resend that today. Again, a look at our schedule. We talked about this last week, and I'll just hit this quickly. We basically have taken our schedule knowing that we're going to spend some time in remote, and we are definitely going to spend the first quarter in remote. Looking at the schedule, we have first semester, we have your odd number classes, first, third period, fifth period, and seventh period, plus advocacy. What you notice on first, third, and fifth period is that these blocks are 90 minutes long, about 95 minutes long apiece. These blocks, you are going to complete the entire course. So whatever, if your first period is English 2, you will complete the entire year of English 2 in the first semester. So you'll only have these 4 classes plus advocacy. That's going to be true of your third block and your fifth block. So you're going to earn in those 3 hours, you're going to earn a half credit each 9 weeks. It's going to change a little bit when we get to advocacy in seventh period, and the reason for that is the way the schedule is laid out. We need to make sure that teachers have planning periods, and we don't have 8 classes. We didn't have time to go through when we started doing this and build an entire new master schedule, which takes months to do. So these classes, advocacy and seventh period, are going to serve as kind of like one block. Advocacy will be 47 minutes every day, and seventh period will be 48 minutes every day, and they will run for the entire year. So the only classes that you will have that will meet every day for the entire year will be advocacy and seventh period. Second semester will be your 2, 4, 6 will be the classes that you'll complete that semester, plus your advocacy and seventh hour. You notice that we have 2 lunches on there, and I talked about that last week. When we are face-to-face, and I'm assuming we will be at some point this year, that means that we will need to still do the social distancing and make sure that we're staying as safe as possible. We can do that easier with 2 lunches and smaller groups of people at lunch. So these 2 lunch times will be at different times, and we would explain to you when we come back face-to-face whether you have first lunch or second lunch. But because we are remote, and this is what I'm going to say is true for everybody, whether you selected my school remote or whether you selected face-to-face, because everybody is remote in the beginning, what we've been able to do, and I'm going to talk about 2 things here. One of them is going to be our schedule here. So if you're looking at the schedule, you notice that we are still expecting everybody to log into Teams, and you're going to get some information on this on Monday, August 31st. And your teachers, your first hour teachers, are going to send out some information on this too, which will tell you exactly what you need to do. Everybody's expected to be in their classes during these times. So you're going to log into Teams and we're going to take attendance, and you're expected to be there at 7 a.m. each morning for your first period. Then you'll be in that class. You'll stay logged into that class from 7 to 8:30. The schedule will run kind of like the workshop model. So we'll start off, teachers will give some direct instruction. You'll see them on there. And then you'll have some work time. And during that work time, you'll be able to work on your assignments, and your teachers will be there to help you with it. So you'll be able to chat with your teachers, talk to your teachers, see your teachers, and get help during that time. At the end of the class, there'll be a closing that kind of wraps up what the day's lesson was, probably goes over anything that you need to do overnight that would serve as homework. So again, everybody, regardless of whether they signed up for face-to-face or my school remote, we're all my school remote to start the year. So that means we all need to be logged on at that time. Same thing would go for third period and fifth period. We are going to just do one lunch. So instead of having two lunches, there's no reason for us to do that in a more natural time for lunch. Since we just have the option, we just need to have one option here, is going to be 11:40 to 12:30. You'll notice that this is a little bit longer than your lunch usually is. Lunch is usually 40 minutes. You've got just a little bit more time in there. Advocacy will meet every day from 12:30 to 1:17. Again, you're expected to log in there. Your advocacy teacher will take attendance. Sometimes your advocacy teacher will have some specific information for you that they will share. Sometimes that information will come from us, from the administration. You'll also get some things as far as like daily announcements. We'll share those things during advocacy. And we're hoping to be able to have some other opportunities for you that I'm hoping to be able to share with you on Monday, August 31st about advocacy. Seventh period will be every day from 1:22 to 2:10, so about 48 minutes. Again, expected to log in and be on there until 2:10. One of the nice things that we've got here is if we're all remote, something that you guys are going to see is that we will have all of our classes again run through Microsoft Teams. You will only have to focus on 4 classes per semester rather than 7. And this was done intentionally to make sure that we're doing the best we can to learn from our lessons that we learned in the spring, which is that 7 classes are hard for everybody to manage. So 4 classes per semester is all you'd ever be thinking about. There'll be training provided by students in the district and 2 students, by the district and teachers, and you're going to get something about how to log in again on Monday to get started on all of this. It will not look at all like what we did in the spring. Again, in the spring, you were just communicating with your teachers and you could kind of work at your own pace. This is actually a school day where there's actually time that you're expected to be in class. Wanted to also share before I go to the next thing, this is the bit of good news that we have. Because we were all able to go to my remote, last time I talked to you about how building 2 schedules within one school can limit the options students have. Because we're all in my remote, at least for the first 9 weeks, what we're doing is we're keeping the same schedule that we would have normally had. So this allows students to have all the options that they would have. Now, if we would have to come back face to face, it would mean that we would have to go through and create the My Remote schedule for students who still didn't want to come back face to face. And then we would go back into that spot after you've already earned half your credit. So it would be a fresh start, which would be like the second semester for your class, the second half of your credit at the 9 weeks for blocks or hours 1, 3, and 5. We would have to go through and build a new schedule. At that point, you could lose some options, but at this point, we're at least able to take about half of your classes and get you some of those options if we stay with our regular schedule for the first quarter. So that's a good thing. It definitely gives people some options. So if we had a student who was taking dual credit for senior English, they would be able to get a half credit or a credit for Comp 1 in that first 9 weeks. And then the second 9 weeks, they may have to take English 4, but they would have at least been able to earn some of those. So it's not perfect, but it does give us an opportunity to be able to provide you with a little bit more service than what we thought we were going to, which is a good thing. I'm going to turn this over to Assistant Principal Erin Nichols and our tech person, our tech specialist in the building, Ms. Chrissy Davis.
Thank you so much. Hi, Northeast Magnet families. It's good to talk to you again. We wanted to share information about technology and textbook deployment. We are looking to get things out to families beginning next week, and we have a plan for that we'd like to share. So I'm going to share my screen with that information. Okay, so as hopefully you've heard, the district purchased devices so that every student can be one-to-one with a technology device. We shared information last week about how some families may have to utilize their own devices because devices were back ordered. Devices are still back ordered for the district. They're still waiting to get some of them. However, Northeast Magnet is lucky enough that we are going to be able to issue all students, all Northeast Magnet students will be issued a district device. No Northeast Magnet student will need to utilize their own personal device for school this year. We're very, very lucky in that. Because of this, all students will need to attend a 1-hour session where they will receive this device and they will also be trained to use this device. I would like Ms. Davis is going to speak to you a little bit about those devices.
All right. Good afternoon, families. This is Chrissy Davis here. And I just want to share a little bit about the device protection insurance that the district is offering. It is optional, but strongly encouraged. It's at the low cost of $30 per year. That would cover all the expenses for the $645 device that is being issued to the student. We'll have 10% of our student body that will be issued a slightly used device that will be about half that cost if something were to happen to it. But we do offer the device protection program. Again, it's $30 for full pay if you have filled out the application for free and reduced lunch and fee status. The reduced lunch fee status is $20 for the cost on that, and then $10 for free.
Perfect, thanks so much. So when students come to these 1-hour sessions, they will not only be getting their device and paying if they choose to accept the device protection insurance, they will also be receiving textbooks and other class materials. And Mr. Teague is going to tell you just a little bit about that.
Thank you, Ms. Nichols. I'm Alan Teague, Assistant Principal here at Northeast Magnet. Good to talk to our families once again. So although we will be providing some material online, digital textbooks, but many of the material that you will need for your classes, you will pick up when you're coming to the building for deployment of technology. And so we'll have all of your textbooks available for the classes that students are enrolled in first semester. Those will be collected and placed in a bag and issued at the time of deployment of technology. In addition to textbooks, any kind of workbooks for classes that will be issued at that time. Our art students will be receiving supplies. Our art teachers have put together a little bag for each of our students. Yearbooks, if they were purchased from last school year, those will also be issued at that time. And if anyone is enrolled in Miss Kennyman's PE class, you will be receiving a PE t-shirt at that time. And so you'll be asked for your size when you arrive for deployment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Teague. So in addition to the information that Mr. Teague just shared, freshman students who are taking band have the opportunity to rent a band instrument at that time. Mr. Martins, our band teacher, will be emailing that information to those families. So that is something that you can do at that time also. And students will be receiving their student agenda as well. So not only is it technology deployment, it is textbook deployment, and class materials deployment. So sessions for these times will be offered Tuesday through Thursday of next week. You can see those dates on the screen. And we will be scheduling 1-hour sessions beginning at 10 a.m. with our last session beginning at 6 p.m. and ending at 7. And due to social distancing requirements, families must sign up for a session in advance. We have to schedule those so we know that we can safely have only the number of families in the building that we can have at one time. This is for everybody's safety. And we do ask that during this time, if at all possible, that only one parent and one student attend the required session. We will be sending you information on Monday via a parent link email from Mr. Kreisman that gives you the link to sign up for these sessions. We wish we were sharing that with you today so that you had a little more advance notice, but we are hoping to make sure that we have everything ready, including devices from the district, to make that happen. So because of that, we won't be sharing that link to actually choose a session until Monday, but you will be able to do that at that time. The format that you'll use to sign up for a session will look similar to this. It might be slightly different, but you will enter in some information regarding the student's name, the student ID. You will choose one of the 4 days next week, and you will choose a time. And again, that email will come from Mr. Kreisman on Monday, August 31st. Before you get the device, there are some things that you need to do. So in Mr. Kreisman's email on Monday will be a link to a digital sign-off that you complete. This is an agreement about the use of this device. This must be completed prior to the student receiving the device. If you can complete this agreement prior to your session, before you even come to the building, that would be preferable. We will have a few laptops set up where families can digitally sign this once they're at the building to pick up the materials, but this agreement has to be completed. This agreement is different from the technology agreements that you completed during your online enrollment. So this is an additional document that you haven't yet signed. And then you can see information here again about the device protection program that Mrs. Davis talked to you about. I just want to point out that you are not renting this device. The device itself is not costing families any money at all. So this device protection is, again, optional. This is just to cover you, the families, in case there was any damage, loss, etc., of the technology device that students are utilizing for the school year. And if families opt not to pay for this device protection program, that is their right to do so. However, if something happened to that device, families would have to pay the cost to replace that device. So we strongly encourage you to pay for this device protection. And the only time you can pay for the device protection is prior to receiving the device. So after students walk out of the door with their laptop, you cannot purchase this protection program. It has to be done prior to. We ask that if anybody in your family is experiencing any COVID-19 symptoms, if anyone's tested positive or has been exposed, we ask that you not come to the building for the safety of everyone. Instead, you could call the front office at 973-2300 and arrange an alternate pickup time. Again, this alternate pickup time is not the preferred method, because we want students to actually be trained on using this device. However, we want everyone to stay safe, so we are offering this for families that need that. Finally, more detailed information will be coming out again in an email from Mr. Kreisman on Monday, August 31st. In the meantime, if you have questions, please, again, you might rewatch this video, wait for that email on Monday, and if you continue to have questions, please give us a call. Thank you so much. We can't wait to get these devices in students' hands.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm on the wrong one here again. Had this challenge a little bit earlier, but we will get it. We will just go without that last part there. Basically, just wanted to be able to share that information with you so you know a little bit about what the deployment's going to look like. Again, like they said, I really wish we were able to give you that bookings thing so that you could sign up for your time in advance, but we just really need to be able to make sure that our times are going to work. You will have that opportunity. They talked about the form that you could fill out. Parents, if you could fill that out, like they said earlier, if you could fill that out before you come to the building, it really would eliminate the need for you to come to the building. And because many of our times are during the day, the times when you're working, that would really help you out. If your student were just able to come to the building, you wouldn't need to do anything. They could just come and pick up the things that they needed if they had that form, and then they could pay for the insurance if they chose to do that, which we'd really recommend that everybody do. And then the other big thing that I wanted to make sure that we all understood is that because we did go to remote, we are able to, for the first 9 weeks, keep our regular schedule. So everybody will have all of their options. Obviously, if and when we come back face to face, some of those things may change, but it at least gives everybody an option to have a little bit more of what they wanted throughout the course of the year, which I think is important. So wanted to say thank you to everybody. I will send out, along with this video, the schedule, the link to the schedule change. Again, the last day to make those changes is going to be Monday at noon. Please pay attention to why we make those changes. We don't make those changes for some reasons. We do for others, so make sure that you're paying attention to that. We need to be able to get all of our schedules finalized. Again, it's even not Northeast Magnet, it's the entire district. Once all the schedules are finalized, we can create all of our classes and teams and then move forward. Again, just really appreciate your patience, your grace, and your flexibility in this time. Thank you very much.